Okay, so continuing from that video, I think I was writing out facilitated diffusion. So that is another type of passive diffusion. So this is driven still by diffusion. So this is going from, this facilitated transport, still driven by diffusion. So things are moving from a high concentration to a low concentration, but they might be bigger molecules, so they might need a protein to go through. So you're going to have either a carrier protein, those are for larger molecules. So things like glucose will require a carrier protein, and also you have another type of protein called a channel protein. So a channel protein, these are generally used for charged molecules. So here I've got negatively charged chlorine, right? And it's going through a positively charged protein through a channel in the middle into the cell membrane, into the cell here, into the cytoplasm. So things are still moving from a high concentration to a low concentration, but the channel protein, because the negative charge is attracted to the positive, provides a sort of a tunnel for the chlorine to go through. So that is a channel protein, which is part of the facilitated transport system. And you also just have regular passive transport, and that works for smaller molecules. So if I go back to this note, you have passive transport. So you have just diffusion and your facilitated diffusion, which is facilitated by these two different types of proteins, either a carrier or a channel. So it's all written here in your notes. Again, I recommend drawing it out. Then you have another form of transport called active transport right here. So if I go back to my flow chart, so I have transport across the membrane, the other type is active transport. And it's called active because energy is needed. So you need energy for this transport to occur. And the reason why you need energy is because you are traveling, the molecules are traveling from a low concentration to a high concentration. So they are going, you'll often hear it, they're going against the gradient, right? And that is harder to do, which is why you need energy. The energy is going to be in the form of ATP. So if we go back to our note, just going through, you have active transport. So things are going against the concentration gradient and energy is required. Looking at this picture right here, you're going from a low concentration, right? And it's going to a high concentration. ATP is getting used up in the process. So as we use up ATP, that is driving the transport to go against the gradient. Now, I know it sounds inconvenient, but it actually happens more often than we think in our cellular processes. So many cells use 40% of their energy on active transport. A good example would be kidney, right? Because sometimes certain cells need glucose even though there is a gradient going another way or something like that. So it is a pretty important process either way. Okay, so that is active transport, and I believe that is the end to your note. So that's all you need to know for note 10. Phospholipid bilayer, carrier proteins, channel proteins, and this transport, this right here, this was just to help you organize it. Okay, if you have any questions, as always, you can ask me in class.